All right, folks, so the time has finally come. We are at EOS, or at least the road to EOS. And I'm just thinking about how I'm going to finalize my account and sort of just feel like I beat the game and sort of just reach some sort of closure with the ending of service. So, first of all, right on the screen, I have already selected my final unit that's going to write out my account, and that's going to be King Mont. Now, I know Helena and Elda have special lines, but they're in Japanese, so they're not going to be as meaningful. I could just watch the video if necessary. They say it in the video and they translate it in the video. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about is just the things that I'm going to do to finish my account. And then part B, actually I'm going to talk about this first, is my backup plans so to kind of preserve the game as much as I can. Let me talk about that first, actually. So first things first is that I know some people are going to back up the story, and they said that they're going to put the story on YouTube, I guess. But what I want to do is I want to replay the story and try to record it with only the voice, so no background music, no sound effects. So I want to try to do that. But more importantly than that, what I want to do is record the battle voices as much as I can without any sound effects or music. I don't know how I'm going to find time for this. I'm going to just try to start grinding away at it. I'll try to get as much done as I can. If anyone wants to help in that sort of same mode with only the voices, would appreciate that a lot. But I'm going to try to just do it myself. As something that I mentioned already is that I actually have already started backing up the models, and I should already have up to Sir O already completed. So there he is. Let me move him around a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah, so of course, let me make sure I do this right here. So yeah, there you go. So now you should be able to see this is the final, this is actually the young Sir O up to the last update. So starting probably tonight, I'm going to just back up the latest update, the latest and last update, and then we're going to be able to have that fully preserved. I'm going to try to upload those to a Google Drive. I already have the Google Drive ready for that, but so for right now I might just upload the data, but then I'm going to try to just do the models, and then I'm going to try to just do it in a organized way. So the file names are kind of weird, so I want it to be like, this is young O, this is regular O, this is Mont, whatever. Right now it's a little strange, so I'm going to try to just organize it like that. Okay, so that's the second thing in terms of backing that stuff up. I've kind of just realized that the music and the sound effects, in terms of backing that stuff up, is going to still be in the Japanese version, so we don't have to worry about that now. And then there's going to be future units in the Japanese version, of course. I'll wait until that EOS, if that ever comes. But other than Adelard, who is already in this backup, he should already be in this backup, I'm not sure if I'm going to have as much of a connection to future units, so I'm not as concerned with that. Okay, so that's part one. So part two is just what am I going to do in terms of feeling like I beat the game. And I think the first goal that we're going to have to do is to get as many units as we can and try to max them out as much as we can. So first thing I want to point out is that there's a banner currently on for the latest units, and I think it's only about 3 or 4 units. I say 3 or 4 because most of us got Sir O for free, so we don't have to really worry about him. So it's going to be from Venera to King Mont to Mavia to Falset. Luckily for me, I already got Venera by luck. I think I got her on a 300 pay ticket, so I'm good on her. I got King Mont I actually pulled for him. I think I got him and Gilgamesh in like 13 steps or so total, so that was really good. So I'm going to attempt to prioritize Mavia and then Falset. If I don't get them, I don't get them, that's fine. But if I do get Mavia, I'm going to try to prioritize her. But the only thing to note is that for these 5 units, we only have these 100 shards here. So whatever we can get from here, and then whatever we can buy in the normal shop, that's going to be the only way for us to get shards, because they're not going to be in the remembrance chamber. That's why I'm a little prioritizing them more so, because we're going to have to actually pull for them. And honestly, I don't really need them. I just want to have a sense of completeness. So I'm assuming that they come up here in the normal shop. I haven't really seen them or tried to look for them, but hopefully we can update this for free. I don't know how many free updates we get, but hopefully they let us update that for free. Hopefully the Whimsy shops have them, so hopefully if we need to build them, it shouldn't be that hard. But you can also throw them into hard quests. So I'm starting a little late, but if you have the full 60 days, it's going to be 6 per day times 60, so that's going to be around 360 shards. Hopefully that's enough between soul shards and mind sphere shards. Hopefully you have enough to build them. So if you want to prioritize those resources towards those new units, I believe that's what you should do. In terms of the Remembrance Chamber, we're going to have pretty much unlimited amounts of opportunities to run that. It's not perfect, but at least we do have some way of getting these units. And note, if you haven't noticed, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and those are the limited units. I just picked up Joom, because I just didn't have Joom. But there's a lot of other ones here that I never really got a chance to try. So like maybe Rugia might be one that I might want to try. Maybe Rysol. There's definitely some other ones here. Esther, for sure. But there's only a certain amount of time and effort that I'm willing to put into this. And then remember that I'm also trying to create that backup. So yeah. Also, one other thing is you might be able to do guild summons to get some of their shards for the ones that you can't get them from here. So this shop only, let me just reset it back to the top. This shop only goes up to King Jaden and Helena, obviously, but it's going to be missing some units. So you're going to have to prioritize the other units if you want to max them on the banners. So just making sure I say that just in case. So on top of these units, there are certain units that, like, it finally hit me that EOS is coming. And I'm starting to feel bad that I never really got to either max out or use these units as much as I wanted to. And those are the ones that I've bookmarked here. Like, why haven't I maxed out Pain to 140 yet? I don't know. But it's so sad that I was so happy to get her maxed out to 120 at least. But I never really got to use her. So I want to try to use her if it's going to be in the Legendary Reliquaries. Wherever. Maybe as the last resort, that's probably going to be Tower. But I want to try to get to use these units as much as possible. I'll just put it that way. Riku is another one. I feel like I didn't get to use her all that much. Cloud, I don't remember why I added Cloud, because I definitely used him in Guild Raid. He is pretty good for Guild Raid. So there's some units here that I haven't quite gotten to 120 yet, but those are kind of the ones that I want to work on personally as sort of my favorites, or like ones that I never got to try that I always wanted to try. So for example, Bronwell here, that's a good example. So one of the other things that I want to do to finish the game is to finish the Veritas units. I mean, there's really only like 4 here that I haven't finished. I still have to do the Dark Veritas quest. I have not done that. I plan to do that at some point. So especially since the shards are readily available, I should not have a problem maxing these guys out. We did get a lot of resources for like Rainbow Mind Spheres and things like that, so we should be Rainbow Vision Spheres, I guess they're called. So that should not be a problem. So as I already mentioned, in terms of PvE content, I do want to finish the Veritas of the Dark Quest. But if we go over here, some of my favorite missions in this game were the Burst Core Ruins, because they were not that hard, but they were challenging enough that they were like fun. So I feel like those were pretty good. So I definitely want to try to finish whichever ones I skipped. I didn't skip too many, but there's definitely some that I was just like, you know what, I know this is here, so that if I really need to do them, they're always here. So I just want to make sure to do that. Like I said, there's going to be the Dark Veritas mission here. Definitely want to do that. I think I did the first one, but I didn't do the second one yet. So definitely plan to do that. Of course, there's going to be selection quests. Shouldn't be too hard at this point, but I never really finished all of these missions. So I think the only one I finished was the fire one. I guess not. I think maybe I finished the water one then. I finished it, but I didn't get all the stars. But I'm trying to just finish these missions at the top because I just never got around to finishing them. So that's going to be one of my goals. And then, of course, there's going to be the Legendary Reliquaries. I'm pretty bad with that. I haven't really done, I might have just done an auto run, but I never really finished it. So definitely going to try to do that before EOS comes. And then I think the last thing is the story. I'm not that far behind, but I'm still in chapter 11, scene 3. And I believe I just have to do chapter 12 according to the missions here. So if I go over here, story quest, so chapter 11, I'm on the last mission of that. And then chapter 12, scene 3. And the only reason I haven't done those is because I like to sit down and read the story. And then sometimes it's like you're farming and like you can't play the story while you're background farming. So that's the reason that I haven't done that, is because I just really haven't had the time to just plan that out correctly. Because sometimes farming is more important than sort of finishing the story, because it's always there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of what I'm going to do to try to beat the game, essentially. And then there's one thing I wanted to point out too, is they pretty much unlocked everything. I wish they would have thrown a guild raid onto here. That would have been nice, but we have raid revival and all that stuff. I should be good on all my equipment, so I'm not really concerned about that. And for this Helena book here, I haven't done it yet, but I'm really trying to just build 1+5, because at this point, I think I saved up for like 2 or 3 +5s for most equipment, but I never really used more than 1. Like certain armor, I did use 2, but for most weapons, I didn't really. So I'm probably only gonna do this for 1+5, and I'll be good for that. And I forgot you even get a +3 for free, so it's not even gonna be that much of an issue. Then the one last thing I wanted to point out is here in Key Quests, the only thing that I didn't see that they added, which I saw that was missing before, is the Shiva quest. So we do have Fenrir or Ifrit. We do have all these other ones. The Shiva challenge. So the Shiva challenge is where you get the fittest Lacerna, which is like a purple piece of clothing, which again, it's not a big deal, but I kind of wish they just had it there just for completeness sake. It's just not there. And that's really the only thing there that I found, at least. So, I mean, all in all, I feel like, it's not perfect. I understand that there's room to complain about not being able to get the last units, but I'm also thinking that the people from the JP version might be tempted to come over and just play the units here for free and not pull, things like that. So that's like their strategy in terms of getting people to pull. So that's fine, whatever. Oh, and I forgot to mention that in terms of VCs, this banner is way more forgiving than this one. So that's good, I guess. And I might try to just get this Leviathan. It depends on how much Viz I have left over. I'm going to prioritize getting Mavia. Then maybe I'll get Leviathan. Oh, and I actually forgot to. I have some tickets here. I still have some select tickets from whenever they came out. Down here somewhere. So I'm going to use that to probably select the Dark Espers. And I'll probably just do this on a video too. I'll select the Dark Espers. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these summons, the random summons. So I'm going to try to do as many random summons as I can, and then do select at the end, and then do whatever I can from the Remembrance chamber. So I might try to, in terms of these VCs that you get to pick the latest VCs. So, and they're guaranteed with 5,000 Viz. So I'm probably just going to guarantee, I'm assuming, I haven't gotten to that step, but I'm probably just going to guarantee those newer VCs and then kind of worry about the older VCs. The VCs are not that big of a deal for me. I'm not trying to go crazy in PvP. So I'm really more after the units to try to build them up. And in terms of like PvP content, I'm not going to do duel anymore. I think I have enough Veritas medals. So I'm just going to let this whatever. But I have been doing arena. Arena seems really pretty easy right now. I missed like 2 days and I'm still at rank 2000 without using any potions yet. So I'm just going to try to get top 1,000 if possible. I think the competition is still pretty good in the top 1,000. So if you want to go for that, it's still kind of fun. So definitely. All right, guys. So I probably have a couple more videos to make. So hopefully you guys are at least enjoying being able to use all these units for free. And we'll talk in a few days. And I'll probably just talk about some stuff that I haven't gotten a chance to talk about. So definitely look out for those videos. But anyway, in any case, guys, have a good one. Enjoy the EOS, the road to EOS, as I'll call it. And hopefully you can finish building whatever you want to build. So catch you guys later. Peace.